Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Can I get a medium coffee, 2 milk, and a sugar cookie donut?
That's all?
Yeah,
397, thank
thanks.
you.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is a unconventional episode. I'm going to be doing something a little different today. Instead of yapping on about cars or entrepreneurship, heading downtown to hang out with my brother for his birthday, and I've done a lot of research on this and had a lot of experience on it, and it's a big lesson I'm going to share with you today. And it's the 3 type of women that you do not want to date. You want to stay well away from them. How you doing? It's on a Visa. Yeah, I'm just going to tap it. Thanks. All right, have a good one. See you. All right, so the first type of woman that you want to stay well away from, that is probably the most dangerous, in my experience anyway, is one with daddy issues. One that did not grow up with a strong role model of a good father. For those dads out there that have little girls, I'll flash up on the screen in a moment. Grab this book. It's by Dr. Kevin Lehman, and phenomenal. It'll teach you how to raise your little girls without screwing them up so they can operate as an adult. But these women that have daddy issues, that grew up in a home without a strong male role model, are a freaking nightmare. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the father was or wasn't home. It could, I mean, he could have been a piece of furniture in the house and just sat around and never engaged his daughters. Or he could have been one of these in and out dads that was divorced or traveling all the time or whatever it was. But it's not just spending time with the little girls, it's engaging them in activities and basically demonstrating to them, to the girls, so that they can grow up into strong, smart, intelligent, and emotionally stable women, that men are valuable. You know, as an entrepreneur, you're strong, you're an alpha male, you're a A-type personality. You generally don't take crap from many people. So if you're like me, you're watching the channel, you're either an entrepreneur, you want to be an entrepreneur, or you're looking for some sort of tips or success knowledge. I know that 95% of the people that watch my videos are guys. You know, the demographics are there to say that. So it's important that you know that if you're that type of guy, you need a woman that is going to respect and value those types of qualities in a man. And if a woman grew up, or if a girl grew up in a house that didn't have a strong male role model, it doesn't even have to be the father. It could be an uncle, it could be a grandfather. You know, sometimes women are widowed and the father dies or something. As long as there's a strong male role model in that home that showed her how a man should be. And I'm not talking about, you know, bullshit like grunting and having a beer and grabbing his nuts and scratching and stuff. I'm talking about being able to get down on the ground and play with his little girl and engage her in conversation and take her places and have daddy-daughter events and nights and things like that. One of the first things that I do when I meet a new woman or dating her is I'll ask her what her relationship was like with her parents. And if it's completely absent, or she had a bad relationship with her father, huge red flags, huge. Life is just better if you do not date a woman that has daddy issues. They're not always easy to spot, but if you ask them what their experience was growing up and what her relationship is like with her parents, she's going to start to talk about her father, and you're going to start to hear about those stories and the patterns that exist, and pay attention to them, like listen very closely. One of the things that tends to happen if a girl has daddy issues is whatever parent is opposite sex, so again, females is always going to be male, whatever parent is the opposite sex, if they have unresolved issues, love, desire, need, you know, things like that, they can tend to try to reconcile those outstanding issues on the man in their life today. So you might be a great guy, but she might have had a shitty father or a shitty childhood. She can often try to reconcile or resolve those issues on you when there's really nothing there that needs to be resolved, and she thinks it's in her head. The other thing that can happen is they don't tend to respect the value that you bring to the table. You're an accomplished guy, you might be a firstborn, you might be alpha, you might be an entrepreneur, and if you bring a ton of value to the table, you get stuff done. If they didn't grow up in a house with a guy like that around, they don't value it. They don't give a shit. It's just not something that they care about. So while you might have worked hard in your life to get to where you're at or to accomplish things that you have, she's not going to value it because she didn't value it as a child. Why would she value it as an adult woman? She just doesn't. It can end up being situations where it's all about her, or she doesn't see the sort of value and strength that you bring to the table. So if a man was an option in her childhood, he's definitely not going to be a priority to her as an adult. He'll be an option to her at that time, and it can be very easy for her to walk away if there's something that she doesn't like or doesn't serve her needs at that time. So again, life is just simpler this way. If you spot a woman with daddy issues, my advice, don't even waste your time. Now, the one caveat I've got to warn you about is don't confuse women that have had a strong male role model in their life with dads that are pussified. And what I mean by that is there's women out there roaming around today that have had fathers in their lives, but they have served them their entire life. And you see it in adulthood, and what it looks like is this. Daddy, I need to do this, or I need to do that, or I got to move something in my house. And he'll drop what he's doing, show up at her house, and go and move things around and do things and serve her and paint walls and hang chandeliers and do all kinds of crazy shit all the time. And that pussified father is what she's going to expect from you as a man, the guy that she's dating, the guy that she's with. She's going to expect you to bend over backwards to do everything for her because that's the experience that she had. So that's the one caveat that you got to be careful with is she ends up with a father that's completely pussified that will bend over backwards to serve her all the time. The next kind of woman that you want to try to avoid, number 2, is the one that's looking to be saved, rescued, supported, whatever you want to call it. There's women, and I don't understand this, like we live in a world where, feminism has come out in the 60s, 70s, whenever it was, but we still live in a world today where women want to stand on their own 2 feet, or at least give the impression they do, but yet they go around in life picking and choosing what they should and shouldn't do. It's like, I want to have rights and I want to vote and I want to get paid equally and all that stuff, and that's fine, and I'm totally for that. I've got a daughter, I get it. But then when it comes to certain things like, I don't know, maybe picking up a tab every once in a while when you go out for dinner, they're like, oh, that's okay, I don't want to deal with that shit because I've got this stuff over here and I get to be a woman and, be served. It can get even worse if they're the type of woman that needs you to buy them fucking snow tires or have their driveway plowed for them. You're basically throwing money at them like you need to support or save them. And I didn't really understand this concept until the last few years. I ran into a guy at an event in Cabo San Lucas in Mexico. We were doing off-road dune bugging with some other entrepreneurs. We had a chat over dinner, and he's telling me about his experience with his current, he's on his second wife, and he was telling me that, he got tired when he got into his late 30s and 40s of dating women that needed to be saved. I didn't understand what that meant. I think I was married at the time, but I figured it out. I figured out being single and getting into the dating world in the last few years. There's a demographic of women out there that are looking for guys to take care of their asses. All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel? Hit subscribe.